everyone. My name is Ed Hendricks. I'm with Keri Systems, and I'm the North American Sales Manager for Keri. And I'm here today to just give you a little intro and a little sneak peek of how we do the integration for the dormakaba Best YQ product with our Doors.net on-premise client server software platform. It's a really easy integration, and I just got a few slides here, and then I'll actually show you how it ties into our software. So just a couple quick things about Doors.net. It's a complete and easy facility management platform. It's got very scalable features for enterprise and multiple hardware platforms. We can go from one door to thousands of doors, and it's easy to deploy on an on-premise or virtual machine. And most important part, why we're talking here today, it does integrate with the YQ product. So let me just jump into a few more things here and how this gets deployed. So this is a little graphical representation of how the integration does work. Obviously, we do have our Doors.net Pro application server running on a virtual machine or on-premise machine somewhere, which is then, of course, connected to the network. The key parts to this integration there is that LP4502 from Mercury. That is the control board that supports the integration to the portal gateway, which is the next logical piece there. The portal gateway has to be on the network with the 4502 and the server. And then the portal gateway then obviously establishes communication to the variety of YQ lock sets or the WAC single door controllers as well. The next step here is just a few rules of our integration. So on the software side, what's required there? It has to be our Doors.net Professional Edition of the software. There are only two editions. There's a standard edition and professional. This integration does require the professional edition. On the hardware side, it's got to be the Mercury LP4502. This is the controller that has the Overwatch feature that is required to support the integration. And then our capacity. This is where I kind of like it. This integration, as opposed to some of our other wireless lock integration, gives you a lot of flexibility, a lot of horsepower as well. We can do up to 64 YQ locks per LP4502, and kind of unique, we can support 64 portal gateways. So we literally could do a 1-to-1 gateway to lock ratio if had to. Is that really logical? Probably not, but the horsepower is there, the flexibility is there to do so. The only little caveat with that controller does have two hardwired door buses on that control panel. If those are being used, that does take away 2 slots for the wireless lock capacity and drops it down to 62. How do we go to market with the sell the lock? Keri Systems sells the lock to our integrator channel. If that is the case there and selling the lock there, the lock license is included with the lock sale. No additional fees, no ongoing recurring fees for that either. It's a one-time, lifetime fee for the lock. However, we do have a support for system takeovers, conversions of existing locks, or if the lock just got onto a project in another way, we do have a simple one-time lock license to add that to the system, and then that existing lock can be brought onto the system. So with that, let me just switch my screen here and actually show you how this ties into our software. So here's essentially our home page of our admin client of the Doors.net Professional Edition software. And I'm going to jump into our setup menu and into the hardware setup, and then jump to the sub-tab here for the all and give us the hardware tree. So here's where you can see our LP4502 controllers. I'm going to be using this New York City one as our example. I'm going to expand this out here a little bit. And then all of a sudden you can see where we add the gateways. If I want to add additional gateways to this controller, I simply highlight it. My menu ribbon up top changes, and now I can go up here and select to add another gateway to this control board. Again, remember we have a maximum of 64 of these we could do per control board. In this case here, I've already added some, so I'm just going to dive into one of these here. I'll dive into the first one. Underneath it, you'll see we group the locks under the reader icon here, or the naming convention. And now here's all the YQ devices here that are linked to this #1 portal gateway. And as you see here, the property grid is changing as I'm selecting on different things between the portal gateway and between the controller. But if I were to click on a hardwired door as well, this property grid stays the same for the integrator. It's not a different really form factor that they have to learn or understand. A couple other things I want to point out here, if I jump back up to the portal gateway, here's the icons to add the devices to the portal gateway. We do differentiate between a WDC and a WDC-K. The reason for that is the K obviously has the keypad feature on the lock. The C is a card read only. We do that because if we add a WCK, we now add the card or pin features over here in the property grid. If it's card reader only, we just eliminate those property fields from the property grid. And of course, you could add a WAC unit as well there that you can do a localized hardwired configuration with wireless communication back. Jumping back to the property grid of the lock, you can now see we can name the lock, give it its location. We can include it in door types or door classes just as a hardwired door. Program how you want the door contact to function there. Of course, we can do auto unlock schedules with this because it is live and online with us. Door held times, things of that nature. If I scroll down here a little bit further, here's where some of the other magic can happen. Obviously, there's the strike time. How long do you want the door to unlock on a valid access grant event? We can make it an enrollment reader on the fly. And down here under the monitor, I just want to point out, this is where we can do some further integrations with the lock. Using filters and triggers, this is where we can do additional automation with the lock. So if a certain PIN code or certain command was generated at the lock, we could make the entire system do different functions, as well as the video camera. Here's where we could tie it to the video camera and do video integrations with a variety of our supported VMS platforms. If I click on the advanced view here, now we can see a little bit more diagnostic from the lock. We do capture additional information from the lock and display it here for the benefit of the installer, the integrator. And on top of that, of course, we do monitor battery life. So that can be set up as alerts. We do get a daily poll or response back from the lock to indicate what's the current battery life, voltage, everything like that. So in addition to the YQ integration product, we want to give you a little sneak peek here what's coming up soon. We will be doing a full integration to the SwitchTech product right here. This is going to be a little different from the YQ because we are taking this directly to our cloud platform, which we named Borealis. Borealis is completely developed and hosted on AWS, does not require any dedicated PC, no dedicated software, and it will integrate with the dormakaba SwitchTech cores here. We're pretty excited about this product. We see a high adoption rate of additional doors on systems this way. Obviously, as you know, great price point on this as well. And so I just want to give you a little sneak peek on that and what's coming up next. That is slated for later 2022. So with that, that's as simple as it really is. So I just want to kind of come over here to these and just provide one last refresher. Here's the key components. We have to have our Doors.net Professional Edition software. It does require this Mercury LP4502. Again, this can support 64 YQ locks and up to 64 portal gateways, depending on the configuration system. Then you have your portal gateway, and then you have your variety of your locks and your variety of your YQ units. And that's as easy as it is. So thank you for a few minutes of your time. I hope that you find this beneficial. If we can be of any support to you or your sales team, please reach out to myself or any one of my sales managers. And thank you very much.